Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of the QQ with Coach Toe. I'm Coach Toe, and I'm really excited about tonight's show. And been thinking about it all day, all week, and then I go live on Facebook, and the computer, they didn't talk to each other so well. So I couldn't go live on Facebook tonight. So I tried going live on YouTube, and I ran into the same walls. So I'm just going to pre-record this episode and then share it on YouTube and Facebook when I'm done. So yeah, tonight episode 2, and tonight's episode we're calling it the mythology. Sorry, the methodology paradigm. Okay, last week our first episode was called the paradigm shifts, and it wasn't a verb. We were talking. Paradigm was an adjective. Shifts was a plural noun. This QQ series is going to be discussing ways ultimately that Taiwan can achieve its Vision 2030 of becoming a bilingual country. English bilingual, that is. We've got a lot of languages here, but we're focusing on English here at the QQ. So yeah, without further ado, this is going to be the second of the paradigm shifts that we're going to go through in this series. But before we get going, I want to talk to you a little bit about the name, the QQ. It's the QQ is the question queue, and what that means is this is a free class for you to come and ask any question you want from a very experienced Taiwanese English teacher, but I don't call myself a teacher. I'm a coach, Coach Toe. And there's a big difference, and throughout the series, you'll come to discover the major difference between being a coach and being a teacher. I'm not a teacher. So I want you, the secret to this success with this is in asking questions. When you're paying a teacher, however much you're paying a teacher for a tutorial or a class at a Bushiban, you should be asking him all the questions you have. Collect questions all week and ask questions. And so I'm here to offer you my opinion, my thoughts on anything you're wondering about learning English, about Vision 2030 Taiwan, and about how I, Coach Toe, might be able to help you. So there will be on the title card of this series, there was a QR code, and you can scan that, and that'll take you right to the registration form for the QQ, where you can say that you are a free player or a student. I forget what the language on it there is, and then you just fill in the field that asks your question, and that puts your question in the QQ. And questions are answered on a first come, first served basis. That's the Q part of it. However, there's a way that you can earn QQ points, and tonight I'm going to drop a little breadcrumb to show you how you can earn QQ points. So if you have a question and some QQ points, you go right to the top of the queue. Your question gets answered first. So first come, first serve, highest number of points, first serve. Then we get down the list. So my hope is the popularity of this show takes off, that we have an actual queue and that you guys are competing to get your questions answered by earning points, QQ points, in the ways that I'm going to be showing you in the hot tip, in the breadcrumb that I'm going to leave at the end of every one of these shows. Last week, I showed you how to start yourself a little vocab collector, and we're going to drop a little breadcrumb into that and show you how you can turn that vocab collector into actual points that can vault you to the head of the QQ. So yeah, this has been an amazing week. This has been an incredible week. I was so inspired by last week's show. I got a lot of friends reaching out to me and giving me encouragement and lots of advice. And so it's been a whirlwind of creative activity for me, and lots of things going on here at Infinity Key. But before I'm not going to share too many of these things because they're all still in work in progress on the drafting table area. But one thing is for sure, I'm going to share that in a second. Before I do, I want to say thanks to a few people that were really instrumental in pushing me through this week, getting me started on such a. It was a brainstorm. It was a brain typhoon. All right, so Elias Eck, over at Inspire, the guy that wrote the book on how to start a business in Taiwan. Elias Eck, wonderful friend and confidant, and I'm always happy that he'll receive something that I've written and give me notes on it and whatnot. Now, also, I want to thank the bassist and scouser from Gold Seal. You guys have seen Gold Seal around town, I'm sure. Stuart Haston, the other Stu, my bar Stu. He's a wonderful bass player, great musician, but also a freelance copywriter, copy editor and stuff, usually in the tech side of things. But in helping me focus my message and stuff, he's opened up way more ideas for me this week. And so, Stu, thanks to you. An old friend from the hockey days, Patrick McKinley, who's living down in Kaohsiung last night. He reached out to me, and we had a long talk last night and filled me up with lots of food for thought. So I just want to say thanks again, Patrick, for that, all your valuable time and letting me ramble on with you last night. And of course, every week, always a shout out to my good friend Josh Smith. Josh Smith, the president of the Taipei Gents. That's kind of a shitty way to show you, but Taipei Gents, Taipei's premier men's sports group. Golf, hockey, softball, Christmas parties, bocce ball tournaments. The Taipei Gents memberships on sale now. Yeah, Josh is just a good bud who lets me just riff on him, and he's always quick with some really good ideas and feedback. And all of these people, very challenging to helping me build this idea out. And last but certainly not least, to my partner Anna Liang, who has been with me on this since the beginning, and we're seeing it. We're turning the corner, as my least favorite person in the world is wont to say. We are turning a corner. It's very exciting what's going on, and Anna and I, renewed vigor, we're pouring it into Infinity Key, and we expect a lot of really cool things to happen as we roll stuff out in the next few weeks. Okay, so I promise you, out of all the things that changed this week, that that I would share one thing. I could share one secret with you. So let me just, so I have to look over my computer. I'm going to share one thing with you, and that is that my name has officially changed for brand purposes, and also it makes sense. So Tou Jiaolian, head coach, yeah? But my name, Toe Save, my email address, what a lot of my friends call me, they call me Toe or Toe Save. The history of that name, actually, it was funny story. I was writing for one newspaper in a town in Canada that I lived in. And then I got offered a column in a second newspaper. But I didn't want the first newspaper to know about it because they had my name on the masthead every week, even though I was just an occasional features writer. So I adopted a nom de plume, a pen name. And that was Toe Save, because I wrote about sports in the winter, mostly about hockey. So I Toe Save. And in the summer, my byline switched to Pop Fly. And then when I came to Taiwan 20 years ago, I started signing up for different websites and email addresses as Google came out. And I was like, I'll just go with Toe Save. And that kind of became my name when I started playing hockey. All the guys called me Toe Save as well. Thankfully, I brought my own nickname. I know it's not really cool to bring your own nickname to stuff and to give yourself your own nickname. Total Bush League move. But trust me, it's better than the nickname I would have gotten stuck with had I not brought it. So, Coach Toe. Hello, I'm now Coach Toe. Coach Toe, or Coach, you can call me. And in Chinese, Tou Jiaolian. All right. So that's the big news of part branding wise. You can now call me Coach Toe instead of Coach Stu. All right. Enough of that. We've wasted 20 minutes on my blather. It's time to get into tonight's main topic, which is the methodology paradigm. So we're going to just pop open our PowerPoint. And you'll recall last week we talked about fear and where the history of fear and fear of mistakes comes from. And we pinpointed it to the great Huaran teacher, student of Kongzi, Han Feizi, sorry, you know what I mean. And that his teachings were quite, are part of the reason why Taiwanese students are so effective at being students today. That they study extra hard. They put in the time. They put in the time, way more time than students from other countries. Taiwan, I identified last week that Taiwan, Japan, South Korea, and probably China, their high school students, junior high school students put in way more time outside of the classroom, studying, tutoring, and all that than any other country in the world. They'd be the top 4. And you know, I'm not sure. I'm not going to make any claims to know Japanese or South Korean history, but certainly this is part of Chinese culture, and how far that idea of mistakes being shameful spread. It seems to me it spread to all 4 of those countries where shame is a lot more value is given to face than in other countries. Every person in the world understands the concept of loss or gain of face, but none so much than the northeastern Asian countries. I think it goes right back to this guy and the concept of fat. Yeah, and I think it's a great thing. As we said last week, I asked you to consider, is it a good thing for students? But I say yes, it absolutely is, because studying and fear of mistakes equals studying much harder. And when you study much harder and you fear mistakes, you will have success as a student, and it's measured by you will pass your tests. It's proving itself out in Taiwan. We can see it in such a short period of time. 50 years ago, today in Taiwan, you can be anything you want. I'm just reviewing this. We went over all this in episode 1. Lots of examples of success in Taiwan in the last 50 years. So yes, thank you, Kongzi, and especially thank you, Han Feizi, because where would Taiwan be right now if it wasn't for the ethic of the Taiwanese student to work so hard? Give yourself a pat on the back, Taiwan. Give yourself a fist bump. You deserve it. You're some of the best students in the world, except, of course, when it comes to passing English tests. Yeah, we're having a lot of difficulty with that. So this is why we need to change the paradigm. Everybody knows the saying that if you keep doing something over and over and again and expect a different result, that is the definition of insanity. Well, Taiwan's English training is insane. Okay, the Bushy Band system, the junior high school system. There are ways that Taiwan is being effective at the elementary level, but you might as well throw that all out the window once they reach high school, once everybody reaches high school, because then it's just, okay, so it's not working. So my job to change the paradigm, to make it work. Okay, so how are we going to do that? Why can't we succeed? And we discussed the fear of mistakes is keeping us back. We don't want to try. We don't want to make mistakes. So we study really hard, but yet we're still making the mistakes. Or the scores are not high enough to compete on a world stage in English, right? So how do we solve this problem, this fear of mistakes? Well, the easiest way is to make a solid choice today, right? Just say, you know what? Coach Toe is right. I'm not going to be afraid of making mistakes. It's a choice. You are making a choice. It's a choice that is weighed down by 3,000 years of culture. It's a choice, as we talked about last week, that has been enforced by parents, teachers, and friends your entire life. But when you do decide to no longer be afraid of making mistakes, when you do decide to embrace mistakes because they are the first step on the path to learning, then you'll realize, you know what? When Coach told me I could just make the choice to accept mistakes, he was right. I could have just made the choice to accept mistakes. And I know you can't. Like I said, it's deep in you. Mistakes, loss of face. Speaking English, mistakes. Speaking English, loss of face. So, yeah, I get it. So I want to help you slowly, at your own pace, get over your fear of making mistakes. And actually, there are other fears. It's not really, fear of making mistakes is just scratching the surface of it, okay? There are deeper things that you're afraid of, but it all comes down to one thing, and we're just going to say English makes you afraid. English causes you to lose face. We're going to flip that script and prove to you that English can help you gain face. And that's what this is all about, okay? All right, so you can make the choice. You can be, all right, Coach Toe, I'm going to proceed in my English life with confidence. Can you do that? If you can, I'm going to say no fear on 3, and I say 1, 2, 3, and you say no fear. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, did you say it? Probably not. I'll have you saying it in a couple of weeks if you keep coming back to these QQs. No fear. English, no fear. Do you speak English? Yes, I do. How can I help you? Not, oh, my English is so poor. No, no, no. Yes, I do. How can I help you? All right? All right. Now, of course, option 1 is not easy. I don't expect many of you to be able to do that. So plan B for helping you find confidence to use English anywhere, anytime, about anything, with anyone. Plan B is to take a look at the second problem. Maybe by adjusting the second problem, we can help fix the first problem. What is the second problem? Okay, well, what are we looking at here? We're looking at, looks like a junior high school, typical junior high school. What do we got? 4 rows of 5, 20 plus kids, 2 teachers, very strict. You all remember this, right? This is school in Taiwan. So how many of you have fond memories of high school? I know the people that are watching this video from the West Island of Montreal are all raising our hands because we all had a great time in high school because, yeah, our classrooms didn't look anything like this. But we weren't the great students that you were either. So what we're talking about here is methodology, okay? Taiwanese students are great students, but at one style of studying, one way of learning, one methodology. And it works so well in most areas of Taiwanese interest that Taiwan tends to use it for everything. Okay, so study, right? Is study going to get you to your goal of mastery of English? Yes or no? Yeah, you'll pass the test, right? Okay, you pass the test, but then right after the test, you stop using English. And what happens to everything you studied? It becomes forgotten. Yeah, and then more time passes after the test. You're not using English anymore, and your confidence of passing the test starts to wane. And as you get older, your sense of face gets stronger, and your fear of mistakes becomes even more of a problem. So what did passing the test do for you? Your English is now in a black hole. Do you speak English? Oh, 不可以，不可以，听不到. If that's you, This is where you are on your journey right now. Your fear of mistakes is paralyzing you. Because when you study in the fashion that you're used to, we call it cramming in English, and it's right there in the name, cram school, or bushiban, right? Bushi, this style of study, to ingest massive amounts of information into your short-term memory. You can load a lot of information in there, but it's not going to stay there. If I give you the same test 2 weeks later, surprise, exactly the same test, you know your score is going to go down because you didn't study. You forgot everything that you crammed over the last month, over the last year. And by the time you get to high school and you're not using English, and you're into university and there's no more English in your daily life, in your weekly life, in your monthly life, and now you're an adult, a young adult in the workplace. And, you know, if they need somebody to speak English, you're definitely not putting your hand up, okay? Fear of mistakes is paralyzing. So maybe if we took a look at the idea of studying, and maybe the problem is in here. Study, memorize, test. That is the methodology of Taiwan schools and student success. You study 3 times as hard as anybody else. You memorize 20 times as much information as anybody else, and you get higher grades on the tests than anybody else. But what if you wanted to be a better basketball player, ballet dancer, painter, piano player? With that same methodology, that same cramming of massive amounts of information into your head, learning about the history of basketball, taking written tests on basketball theory, but when it comes time to play, you're too afraid to shoot because you might make a mistake. Right? That's not going to make you a basketball player. So my question to you is, do you play music? Do you paint? Do you play sports? If you do, is this the method for it? Study, fear mistakes? No, it works well for science. We saw earlier last week and in the preview this week or last week where all the success of Taiwan is on the back of science. You ask any little kid in his oral test in grade 5, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a doctor. I want to be an engineer. I want to be an accountant, some will say, right? Science saved Taiwan. And this methodology is perfect for science. But it becomes, what does it become? It becomes a failure. It becomes a waste of the time that you're putting in. You put in so many hours studying English in this method and you're failing because if you put that same kind of effort into basketball or piano or violin, you would fail. You would not become a piano player. You would not learn the piano because you're too afraid to make mistakes. That fear of mistakes is a big, big problem if what you're trying to learn is an art-based subject. It's good for science, terrible for art. Experiential learning. That's how you improve at art. And language, ladies, gentlemen, teenagers, teachers, language is art. You study language, you don't get a Bachelor of Science. You get a Bachelor of Art. It's art. And the only way to improve is through experience. Now, what does that mean? How do you improve a piano? At any of these things, how do you improve? I know all of you are saying right now, everybody gets this answer right away. Practice plus time equals confidence. You're afraid to make mistakes? Practice making mistakes. Make enough of them over time, you'll have the confidence to make mistakes. Practice plus confidence plus time equals artistic success. It's a very simple formula. Practice plus confidence plus time will equal English success. So this is the paradigm shift right here, okay? This is what you have to do. You have to, in your mind, accept that practice means trying, failing, trying again, failing better, trying again until you get it right, until you get it into muscle memory. Muscle memory is a lifetime memory. Rote, cram school memory, memorized, is short-term memory. We got to get it into the muscle memory. And that's entirely doable if you accept the role of mistakes in the learning process. So that's your paradigm shift today. The methodology paradigm is to shift from a rote-based, a memorizing-based way of studying to an experiential-based way of not studying, of experiencing, of using the language. Okay? So where do we go from there? Remember this guy? How does he conquer his fear? He conquers his fear by changing his paradigm. Okay? Change from study to experiential learning. Add some time. It's not going to happen overnight. You got to add some time. Over time, you'll start to feel good about this experiential learning. Hey, I'm not wasting my time anymore. I'm actually using English in several different interesting ways, right? Instead of trying to study and pass the test. If you do it this way, tests will become no problem because you'll become familiar with English, and that familiarity will lead to confidence. So plan B, switch to an experiential learning program. Practice plus time plus confidence will equal success, whether you're trying to learn to play guitar, whether you're trying to learn how to ski, or whether you're trying to learn a new language, and especially one as artistic as the English language is. Okay, so that's your paradigm shift. Practice plus time equals success. I welcome your comments in the comment section below on YouTube or on Facebook. Any questions that come out of this, if you're not getting what if you're not picking up what I'm putting down, then ask me, okay? Or better yet, come join me in the Zoom room next week, and we can talk face to face about it, and I can give you examples. Okay. All right. Let's leave the PowerPoint for now. Next week we will discuss the third problem. Should I give you a hint? Here's a little hint for you. Okay, that's the hint for next week's problem. But that's all I'm going to show you. We'll get out of there, and we're going to pop over to our vocab collector that we started last week. Okay, this is your breadcrumb. Today I'm giving you your breadcrumb. So you can see we are in edit mode. You have to be very careful when you make your own, because sometimes people try and fill this in edit mode when you have to go to preview mode to fill it in and file it to submit it. Okay. So you recall last week, you put your email address so it identifies you or remembers you. Any new word that you find, you just type it in, and then some context or link to, like if you were going to ask me what the new word means, and there's several different meanings of it, give me some help. Okay, show me the sentence that it appeared in, give me the context, just make a quick note on the context. And then I asked you a weird thing. I asked you to choose your part of speech, whether it's a verb, a noun, an adjective, an adverb. Okay. So we're going to go back. I'm going to quickly add a new one to here for you. It might be an idiom. That's another thing it might be. So maybe you see a set of words that you recognize and understand the meaning of the words individually, but in the context it doesn't make any sense. These are called idioms. If you're not sure of an idiom, come to the QQ. Ask me, Coach Toe, please tell me what an idiom is in more detail so I can understand it. And each week I might add a new part of speech to it. So no matter what you find, you choose your part of speech. Now, why did I ask you to do that? Because, and here's the breadcrumb, we're going to add one new field to your questionnaire today. And this is yes. Period. Short answer. Yeah, we don't need this validation response. Short answer. Okay. Without looking it up, on, especially on Google Translate, this is a no Chinese world here. We're not going to use any Chinese unless we absolutely have to figure out the meaning of your new word. But I want you to learn to look at the context, look at the part of speech. These are two clues that you would use in formulating a guess as to the meaning of the word. Guessing is a skill that can be improved. This is of particular interest to people taking the TOEIC, TOEFL, and IELTS tests, because those tests are going to give you words that you don't know. They're designed to do that. But if we can increase your ability to guess and your speed of guessing and your willingness to be wrong. Remember that confidence thing that we talked about in the lecture portion tonight of the methodology paradigm. Confidence going into a test. So guessing. Now here's how I want you to do it. Don't take more than 30 seconds to guess. It's okay to be wrong. This is going to be your first experience in Coach Toe's willingness, showing you the willingness to make a mistake. Take 30 seconds maximum. The faster you can formulate your guess, type it in, and then hit submit. Oh, so we're sorry, this isn't a head. We'll refresh, right? So somebody says to you, so my email address is tosave at gmail, right? gmail.com. And somebody said to me, Toe, you used to have such lovely ebony hair. And I don't even know how to spell it. So ebony, I'm not sure how to spell it. It doesn't matter. Okay. Context about my hair. Part of speech. Well, ebony hair, so that's an adjective. And my guess, well, I used to have really curly hair, so maybe it means curly. And you submit. Okay? Then you have it right there again. If you find another word, you do that, you repeat that process. 30 seconds to fill out this form. All right? Now, if you want to collect your points, I'm going to give you half a point, half a QQ point for every word you collect and submit complete with a guess. It has to have a guess. The only wrong answer is, I don't know. That's the only wrong answer. Guess something. Look at the word, look at the context, look at the structure of the word, look at the context it's being used at, look at the part of speech. If it's a verb, it's an action word. If it's a noun, it's a person, a place, or a thing. I'd make a guess. Submit that guess. Then what's going to happen, you're going to make your own form, right? So it's going to go to your responses. And you see now I have one response. I can go here and I can see ebony. There's my new word. It's about my hair. It's an adjective. My guess is curly. I have lots. I can look at it individually, lots of ways. It also goes to a spreadsheet. I will, if you get points, you can ask me, what do I do next with one of your questions? Okay. This is step 2 of a multi-step sequence of, I'm going to give you lots of little breadcrumbs and show you how to earn more points each week. So I want you earning points. So far, your task is simple. Start collecting words, start collecting your own spreadsheet. When you ask your question, you can send me your link, copy the link, send it to me. I can join you there, take a look, and we can further develop it. And other people will learn from your question. Wow. Okay. So yeah, that's hey, I'm only 4 minutes over this time. So yeah, this is Coach Toe for the QQ. Look for new changes coming out this week. Follow us. But I'm over here, right? I'm over here. Follow us on Facebook. Follow me, Stuart Glenn, on YouTube. I'll try and link all that stuff below. I'm a one-man show right now. I don't have a producer or an editor or anything like that. So just try to put content out that is interesting and hopefully informational and fun. I hope the last 45 minutes felt like 15. All right. So yeah, I'll be. I may not even make this a weekly show. I'm enjoying doing them so much, and with this pre-recording, having trouble with the live Facebook feeds and stuff, I may just put a bunch in the can and release one every couple of days because I want you to start picking up these breadcrumbs, start earning points. The QQ will be live and interactive every Tuesday, 9 o'clock in the Zoom room. Whether we go live on Facebook or on YouTube, that depends on the Facebook/Zoom gods. I am getting a new hard drive this week in my computer, so maybe it's my computer's fault. We shall see. Okay, thanks so much for listening. I really had a good time sharing my thoughts with you. I hope you find some value with them. I will be posting something else soon, another breadcrumb. Please send me your questions. Join me live and interactive in the Zoom room. And let's get Taiwan to achieve its Vision 2030 by 2030. For Infinity Key, I'm Coach Stu. Bye.